Anybody who knows me will tell you that I was inspired more than anything else by my parents. They were both teachers. My mother was a high school teacher who actually taught the day I was born. I was nearly born at Campbell County, the old Campbell County High School building. Instead of rushing off to the hospital, she went back and planned her lessons and then went to the hospital. And so I think that really illustrates kind of where everything started. My dad taught for over 40 years. I had the pleasure of teaching down the hall from him for 12 of those years. He was my academic team coach. We've worked together as coaches of the academic team since then. They've had a huge influence on everything that I've done.
In my classroom, I have basically a quote that says, "A life lived for others is the only life worth living." So I've kind of led my life that way. And obviously, number one would be God. But my second would be my husband, because he's the one that pushed me to go to college. And he has a degree in chemical engineering, so he pushed me to go to school. I got a degree in English, obviously education. And then he was the one that helped support me to get through my grad school. He's the one I go to when I'm, stressed or I need to talk to somebody. He offers advice. Second would be Joanne Neesmith. She's my principal. I tell my students all the time, when I grow up, I want to be like her. And she's just got a big heart, so she inspires me to always do better. She's my mentor.
One of the main things I think that helps me as a teacher is that I love art, and that's very evident when you walk in the classroom. So I'm lucky in the fact that all I have to do is just kind of be myself and teach who I am to the kids. And the high school kids especially have a really good BS detector in them. And they know if you don't believe in something, or if something's not going to work, or you don't like it, they can tell.
Being in the library media specialist position, you're constantly trying to stay on the tip of the newest technology coming out, and to get that into the hands of the students. They're all great at technology, but maybe not necessarily in the school setting, in the educational setting, in creating a multimedia product. So just keeping in touch with my personal learning network through Twitter chats, through email, through blogs, just trying to stay on the forefront of all the new technology coming out.
I think the greatest challenge that students are facing now, and we're seeing it a lot in our community, is mental health issues. And I think schools need to be proactive and focused on that, because you have a lot of young adults with anxiety, depression, issues like that. And I think a lot of it stems from the schools and the pressure put on students. So kind of being aware of that as teachers, as counselors, as administrators, ways to be proactive about that instead of reactive after something happens.
A lot of the work that I've done informally within my class revolves around student perceptions of mental health. So our biggest motto in our school is care first, then teach. I work with a population of students who particularly are high achievers and self-impose a lot of pressure and feel a lot of pressure imposed by society. They also feel like they're supposed to be good at everything. And while we love them and we think they're great at everything, I think being really open and honest and having conversations about student stress and mental health and our role as educators in mental health and mental illness and what that means in our current political climate, what that means in the age of social media, is really, really important knowledge for students.
I believe the greatest challenge students are facing today is finding their identity. In a world where they're so influenced by unrealistic expectations on social media, it can begin to really eat away at their self-esteem. And it's a challenge for students to find their own place, find their own in a world, again, where, they have so many things going on around them, that I just encourage students to be original, be themselves, and don't be someone you're not.
What I love most about teaching is the fact that it just doesn't feel like a job. I'm fortunate enough to work at Tishner Middle School, where every day is a blessing. I wake up with that same genuine, doe-eyed excitement to go to school as I did when I was a student. And that boils down to the same idea that I work with so many amazing people, and there's so many phenomenal students that walk our hallways.
What I love most about teaching is I love to see the change. Today we had senior exit interviews. I got to see one of my students that I've had for 4 years, see her and see what the difference from her freshman year to her senior year, just in a presentation. It wasn't even in the context of my class, but presenting and talking to someone in the community, someone, a principal from her school, and how that's significantly different than what it would have looked like 3 years ago or even last year. Getting to see that change over 4 years for me, or in some cases it's 2 or 3 for a student, that's one of the most rewarding things. And getting to be a little part of that is pretty awesome.
Maybe just because of the path, the journey that I've taken in my life of being a stay-home mom, working at a school system, taking care of my parents, moving them in. No one knows where we're going to end up as older adults. And these students might be taking care of me in the hospital, in a nursing home, as a doctor, a lawyer, whatever their path of life is. And I hope they look at me as she took time for me. Isn't that a great legacy to leave? That you took time for someone. It's not money, it's not monetary value. It's just time, taking a moment for a child. What else can we ask for?